Are you a current or future physician assistant wanting to learn more about finances? Then join me on this journey to become a PA the FI way. Hi, my name is Kat, and I'm a practicing certified physician assistant who will be your host. It took me 5 years after I started practicing medicine as a PA to thoroughly dive into my personal finances after I discovered the concept of financial independence. I want to use what I have learned to help you avoid some of the financial mistakes that I have made while sharing some of the financial wins that I have had along the way. Join me as we discuss financial strategies to guide you to becoming a physician assistant on the way to financial independence. I am so excited to dive into today's episode. But before we do so, a quick word from our sponsor. Deciding how and when to pay off student loans is not an easy decision for most. Many of you are feeling weighed down by your mortgage-sized student loans and are asking yourself, how did I get into this mess? Student loans contribute to stress and burnout for PAs, as well as other high-earning professionals. Many PAs, even with the best of intentions, unfortunately make poor financial decisions on their student loans. Look no further than studentloanadvice.com. For a few $100s, they will meet with you for about an hour. They'll go over your personal student loan situation and help you come up with a plan for optimizing your student loan management. Find out how much they can save you today at studentloanadvice.com/PAFI. And if you are interested in learning more, check out the PA the FI Way podcast, episode 42, where Andrew, one of the co-founders, joined me as a guest. Otherwise, head over to studentloanadvice.com/PAFI. Now back to the show. Hey there, and welcome back to the PA the FI Way podcast. I'm your host, Kat, and I'm so thankful that you are able to join me in your busy day with listening to the show and hopefully learning a little bit more about financial literacy for PAs, as well as the PA profession. Although one of the main goals and objectives for this show is certainly to discuss finances through the lens of financial independence for current and future PAs, I also really enjoy discussing many different aspects about the PA profession as well on the show. And you probably have noticed that over the course of many episodes, I will often have different guests on that are PAs that highlight some of the really amazing, interesting, and entrepreneurial things that PAs do as well. So I'm thankful to all the guests that I've had on, and I'm really looking forward to hosting some upcoming exciting guests as well to help to continue to bring more value for you. However, in this episode, it's just going to be myself talking about an important topic for both current and future PAs as well. And that is the topic of encouraging you to consider joining the national PA organization as well as your local state PA societies and organizations. And we will discuss the different benefits as well as how they can advocate for the PA profession, which includes advocating for you. I'm also really excited to make a special announcement at the end of the show, so stay tuned for an announcement about PA the FI Way as well. But let's go back to talking about why it is important for you to consider joining various PA organizations. And what prompted the topic of today's episode is that last week I was able to attend the spring conference for my state PA society, which is MAPA, or the Minnesota Academy of PAs. And I've attended a few MAPA conferences over the years of practicing as a PA, but they are always really fun to attend because you get to catch up with some PAs that you know from the past, or sometimes you're able to attend them with a friend or a colleague that you know on a day-to-day basis. But often one of the most interesting things is when you get to meet so many other PAs that practice locally to you or within your same state. At the beginning of last week, I was able to do a virtual presentation for the student track to talk about some common financial mistakes or pitfalls that new grad PAs make. And it was really fun to be able to talk to these future PAs as well about financial literacy. And then later in the week at the in-person conference for PAs to get CME credit, it was interesting to talk about the organization as well as review with some of them why I started this podcast and why I think it's really important that PAs pursue financial independence. And if you haven't taken a listen to it yet, please go back to episode 56, where I discuss all the reasons as to why it's essential for all PAs to consider pursuing financial independence or FI, for example. A huge reason is that it can help with preventing and even trying to come out of burnout for many PAs as well. But let's talk about why it's important to consider becoming and continuing to stay a member of both AAPA or the American Academy of PAs, as well as your state PA society or organization. One of the primary reasons to consider joining these organizations is the fact that the role of these organizations has many different layers and levels, but one of the primary roles is to advocate for the PA profession, and therefore you as your practice and your job, as well as to try to help with legislative advocacy to try to help advance the profession. So many PAs within these organizations will advocate or fight for you on the state level as well as the national level. They try to help to continue to advance our practice and try to remove various practice barriers that can be in place. Many of the members and leaders within the organizations will talk to state representatives as well as national representatives to try to portray to them what it's like to work as a PA and share with them about the quality care that we provide and try to discuss potentially changing legislation or law about making it easier for us to do our job well. They try to advance the concept of OTP, which is optimal team practice. And this is a broad vision of the future of the PA profession that calls for different laws and regulations that allow PAs to practice without an agreement with a specific physician. Every state is completely different, but I know that in my state in August of 2020, there was the Minnesota PA Modernization Act that came into effect. And after PAs who have practiced for more than 1 full year of full-time practice, they are no longer required to identify a physician on their state license. Additionally, a supervisory agreement, delegation of scope of practice, and location notification have all been removed. The scope of practice is now based on the individual PA's education, experience, training, and is determined at the clinic or the hospital, the place of practice, through a practice agreement. And extra burdensome paperwork has been lessened to try to help make our lives and jobs easier. There are many other states out there where PAs don't necessarily need to have a supervising physician that they work with. So if you're not sure, go ahead and check online with your state PA society to try to find that information out. Over the years, though, both your state PA organizations as well as the national PA organization, as well as other different PA advocacy groups, have helped with advancing the profession in that many PAs could not even write for a controlled substance. And unfortunately, it looks like that still is the case for some states where PAs can be limited as to what types of controlled meds they can prescribe or the duration of the meds in the sense of like how many days of a supply of meds can be prescribed by PAs. So all the changes that have happened over the years have been from PA advocacy, and it still sounds as though many states unfortunately have a long way to go. Additionally, these organizations can help make sure that you are reimbursed properly from insurance companies for the work that you do. It was only recently that PAs could receive direct payment from Medicare. Another benefit of joining your national and state PA organizations is the fact that you get access to more CME. So if you do decide to do conferences, although you still have to pay a fee, the fee is usually reduced for members. Additionally, there are many ways to earn free CME as well once you are a member to the organization. So once you do pay your membership due, then you have access to free CMEs. So sometimes those may come in the form of a webinar where you're watching something and learning that way. Additionally, through AAPA, you get access to JAPA, which is the journal that they produce, and you can get a copy mailed to you or have access to the electronic version online, but you can do free CME through that by reading the articles and taking the quizzes as well. Also, many of these organizations provide access for you to job or career portals, so you can research more jobs that may be available out there if you are looking. Also, when you join AAPA, you do get access to different discounts of different services or from different companies. So for example, I'm just looking at their website right now. Looks like you can get a 25% discount for a couple of rental car companies. You also can get some student loan refinancing discounts. You can also get different discounts for other companies for lab coats and medical scrubs. There's an up-to-date discount. So if up-to-date is not provided through your employer, if you are an AAPA member, you can get it at a lower cost. Looks like that they even have a hotel chain discount. So I encourage you to poke around a little bit on their website about different types of discounts that may be available to you. Once you become a member of these organizations, you can consider also taking a leadership role and joining a committee, becoming more involved to advocate for the profession as well as your PA colleagues at the state level as well as the national level. So we talked about many of the benefits to joining both your state PA organizations as well as the AAPA. And since we talk about finances here, it is very reasonable to point out that there is a cost to joining these memberships, right? So many employers can cover the costs of these memberships for you. However, some of them may not do so. And if they initially say no, you can try to negotiate them to pay your dues for you or potentially negotiate having a higher CME budget to cover the cost of these dues. However, when all is said and done, even if you can't cover the costs with money from your employer, I still encourage you to really consider joining these organizations because, as it was pointed out at our local conference, the cost of being a member for a state organization is less than 50 cents per day. And don't you think that 50 cents per day is a very reasonable amount for advocacy for your profession and trying to advance our ability to practice how we can to our full scope? It's just something to consider. So thank you so much for listening to that whole spiel and promotion, for really considering to join the PA professional organizations that are out there. As mentioned, there are several others that do advocate for the profession as well, but I would say that these are the two main ones for many PAs to consider starting with at least. And now it's time to talk about the big announcement that I have for PA the FI way. I hope over the past 60 plus episodes you have received a ton of valuable information that has really encouraged you to think about financial literacy and take actionable steps to figure out what your goals are for how to achieve financial independence, but also why you are deciding that it's important to pursue financial independence for your life. Although this podcast, as well as the blog posts on my website at pathefiway.com, have been completely free information for you to absorb, if you're wanting to have a little bit of extra help to be motivated to achieve your financial goals and to try to help with your money mindset and how you're trying to become financially independent as a PA, I'm happy to announce that I'm taking applications for current and future PAs who are interested in having one-on-one individual coaching with me to talk about your goals. And as a reminder, since I'm not a tax expert or a financial planner, we would be talking about your general financial goals, and I can serve as someone who's been where you are as a PA and help you get to the point that you envision for your future. So if you feel as though you would need some extra help with things like automating your finances, discussing decisions about paying off debt and investing, or perhaps you'd like to discuss budgeting, saving for your upcoming goals, If you would like a more targeted discussion about the different types of investment accounts that you may have access to, if you feel as though you'd like some help with guidance for negotiation or different strategies to use to keep your costs low in housing or transportation or things like that, then I think we could be a really good fit to work together. If you feel like this is something that you're remotely interested in, I'm going to be offering free 15-minute discovery calls where we can have a conversation and you can review with me what you feel like that you may need help in or what your goals are, and we can discuss that and see if we would be a good fit for each other. So if you feel like you would like that additional help from another PA about how to pursue and eventually attain financial independence, then please reach out to me. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you. Send me an email at kat@pathefiway.com, and we can talk about scheduling a phone call to see if we'd be a good fit for each other and go from there. As usual, I would like to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to listen, as well as subscribe to the show and leave a written review with a rating for the podcast as well. If you haven't done so already, it would mean so much to me if you were to leave a written review on the platform that you're listening to this on and describe what you enjoy or have found helpful about the show. Thanks for taking a listen today, and I'll see you back next week. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you decide to continue to join me along this journey of becoming a PA the FI way. Please take a moment to press the subscribe button on the platform that you are listening to this on, but more importantly, consider sharing with another current or future PA that could benefit from the information that we reviewed in this episode. Take care and have a great rest of your day. Until next time.